But to find out more about how the trade ties between India and the UAE have evolved over the years, we are now joined by our first guest on the sofa. She is the Multimedia Editor, Shruthi Nair. Shruthi, it's such a pleasure to have you here.
Great to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Indeed. So this relationship between India and the UAE has been thriving and striving for many, many years. So tell us how that has been evolving throughout the years and what can we expect for the future?
Oh, well, so much, right? Like you said, the relationship between India and the UAE predates the Indus Valley civilization, where the Indian rupee was also a tender for most of the GCC countries. Since then, the relationship has evolved and evolved and evolved until 2022, May. The CEPA was signed, the Comprehensive Economic Partnerships Agreement. So since then, we've seen a lot of things happen, right? So as part of the CEPA, the deal was for India and the UAE to have bilateral trade worth $100 billion done annually. And the very first year, we saw $85 billion done in trade. So I think we're well on the way to get that target being met very, very soon. So there's that. And then, you know, the devil's in the details. Everything's in the numbers. So we've seen 41,600 companies getting new licenses issued here in the UAE, bringing the total number of companies operating from the UAE to about 250,000. Huge number, I know, huge number, right? So there's all of these numbers. Trade has doubled just over the past sort of 3 years since the CEPA was signed.
So,
oh, sorry.
No. I was just wondering because it's fascinating, and there's so many different. You just said an astonishing number of companies. I want to know how many companies are what. So we just bonded on restaurants, right? So how many restaurants are in there? How many different industry? What industry is really thriving when it comes to how many companies are actually starting here in the UAE, Indian companies?
Oh, well, if you're talking about sectors and industries in particular, we've got the traditional sectors, which is oil and gas, gems and jewelry. We've got IT, for instance. But since the CEPA, or it doesn't necessarily have to be a direct impact of the CEPA, it could be more, it could just be where the natural trajectory of the world is going. We've seen interest in different other sectors, including infrastructure, including food processing, including real estate and manufacturing. We've seen fintech. There's the India-UAE Startup Corridor, which is a project that was initiated about 3 years back, and I think that is a very interesting space which I would be keeping a close eye on. Nothing much has happened yet, but it's about encouraging VC investment within this space. But there's also renewables, there's technology, there's advanced technology, there's so many new industries coming into this sphere, right? So very exciting.
I would like to know some specifics, Shruthi, because I know there's some well-established Indian-based companies or Indian-started companies here in the UAE, but what about since the CEPA? Have we seen any success stories?
Yeah. You know what? I cannot address this question without naming the OGs, so to speak, right? So let's talk about Lulu first. The reason why I mentioned Lulu is, of course, the IPO we saw last year was the largest listing of the UAE of 2024, 1.7 billion. That is how much we saw raised just from the IPO. So I have to mention Lulu, I have to mention Landmark Group, I have to mention Jashan Mal and Jumbo. There's Shobha Realty, there's Gems in Education, there's Aster. So these, I would say, are the companies that built the foundation, that laid out the foundation and serves as a benchmark for all of these new companies to come, right? There's the Bharat Mart, which is a very interesting project that we're going to see, which is going to serve as a manufacturing hub for Indian companies to operate from the UAE. So that's going to be really exciting. We're going to see a lot of import and export of goods happening because of Bharat Mart. India has this sort of safe haven position and proposition, and the UAE stands to benefit from the relationship with India, and India stands to benefit from the relationships with the UAE and the wider GCCs.
You're definitely very knowledgeable, but we do want to get some more people onto the show.
No.
Thank you so much for being our guest co-host today.
We need to do a podcast.
I know.
You're amazing.
I do long-form content, don't I?
You are a fountain of knowledge.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
It's my job. I need to stay abreast.
Yeah.
Well, we're very happy you're on the show with us. Gives us less to do. But we are going to be welcoming our next guest very soon. We're going to be finding out about a leading family business right here in the GCC that was founded over 100 years ago. Jashan Mal after this.